When my mother remarried, the air around us changed. Neighbors whispered when we walked by. Some pitied her, saying she was lucky to find a man who would accept her with a child. Others doubted any man could truly love me as his own. My mother smiled through it all, holding her head high, but deep down, I heard every word. Still, she believed she had found happiness again, and because I loved her, I wanted to believe too. At first, my stepfather seemed like the answer to our prayers. He bought me little gifts, bangles, sweets, notebooks for school. He called me my daughter and patted my head. For the first time since my father's death, I felt like I had a family again. I let myself trust him. But masks always slip. It began slowly. His smiles faded into frowns. His voice, once warm, became sharp and cutting. In front of guests, he praised me like a perfect father. But when the door closed, the warmth vanished. I thought I had failed him somehow. So, I tried harder, cooking better, cleaning longer, studying late into the night. Nothing worked. His eyes still carried something I couldn't understand. His gaze started to linger. His compliments no longer felt fatherly. The way he called me beautiful made my skin crawl. Every step he took around the house filled me with unease. I wanted to tell my mother, but how could I? She looked so happy. She had sacrificed so much, I couldn't take that happiness away. One night, the unthinkable happened. The man I had called father crossed the line no parent should ever cross. My world shattered. My chest tightened with a pain I couldn't describe. Betrayal burned deeper than fire. I wanted to scream, but fear sealed my lips. The following days blurred into shadows. At school, I laughed when others laughed, but my heart was heavy. At home, I smiled when my mother looked, but my soul was breaking. At night, tears soaked my pillow as I asked God, "Why me?" Every time my mother asked what was wrong, I shook my head. How could I tell her that the man she trusted was destroying me? One evening, I stood in front of the mirror. The girl staring back wasn't me. Her eyes were tired. Her smile was fake. Her shoulders bent under a weight too heavy to carry. Tears slid down my face, and I whispered, "If I stay silent, he wins. If I speak, maybe I can be free." For the first time, I chose courage over fear. That night, with trembling hands, I told my mother everything. My voice shook, my chest heaved, but the words poured out like floodwaters breaking a dam. At first, she sat frozen. Then came the scream, not at me, but at him, at herself, at the world. She hugged me so tightly I thought my bones would break, whispering, "I'm sorry. I should have seen it." Her tears became my strength. When my stepfather returned, my mother confronted him. His face drained of color, then twisted in anger. He shouted, denied, twisted words, tried to call me a liar. But this time, I wasn't alone. My mother stood like a lioness before her cub, refusing to let him hide behind his lies. Neighbors heard the commotion. Soon the story spread. Some believed me, others whispered doubts. But the silence was broken, and that was all that mattered. My mother made her choice. She sent him away, despite the judgment, despite the whispers. Some people said she was foolish to leave a man for just a child's story. But she didn't care. She chose me. For the first time, I felt protected. For the first time, I wasn't carrying the burden alone. Healing wasn't instant. The nights were still heavy with nightmares. The scars of betrayal didn't disappear overnight. But with my mother by my side, step by step, I began to reclaim myself. She took me to therapy sessions, prayed with me, and reminded me daily, "You are not broken, you are my child, and you are strong." Slowly, I began to believe her. At school, I stopped hiding. I joined the debate club. I began to write essays about courage and strength. One day, I even spoke in assembly telling my classmates, "Silence protects no one. If you're hurting, speak. Someone will listen." My voice shook at first, but then it grew firm. My classmates clapped. Some even cried. For the first time, my voice felt powerful. Years passed. I carried my scars, but no longer with shame. Instead, they became my armor. They reminded me of what I had endured and overcome. When people called me broken, I smiled. Because they didn't see that from the ashes of betrayal, a fighter had risen. I chose to study law. My dream became clear: to protect children, to give a voice to those who had none. I wanted to be the voice I once needed. On my graduation day, standing in my gown, I looked into the crowd. My mother sat in the front row, her eyes filled with tears and pride. My heart whispered, "We survived." We one family is not always by blood. True family protects, uplifts, and loves. Betrayal can come from those closest to us, but healing can also come from within. This is my story of pain, of silence, of courage, and of strength. If you have ever faced betrayal, remember, you are not alone, and your voice matters. Speak up, rise strong, and let your story be your victory.